Hear that pitter-patter of rain on the roof, Monica?
Gosh, it's a nice gloomy day. Rain clouds.
Love that relaxing pitter-patter.
Let me close my eyes and see if it really sounds like rain. Kind of.
So calming.
Yeah,
Try not to fall asleep if you're driving your car.
You know, this actually is bad for me because I don't like the rain.
Well, I love it.
Well, I don't like it.
Well, welcome to Armchair Expert anyways. We're here on a very rainy Monday morning.
It's so rainy. It's almost a storm.
I'm your host. Well, it's very heavy raindrops falling on the ceiling, as you can hear, on the roof.
Very real raindrops out here today.
I am your host, Dan Shepard, and I'm joined by Latika Ladman, the ever beautiful and talented and smart Latika Ladman. And, of course, Wobby Wob's here in this rainy studio. Oh, he's opening an umbrella.
Rob! Don't do that! Oh, my God!
Oh, my God.
He took it way too far.
Are you really superstitious?
Yes, I don't like that.
But won't the bad luck befall onto Wobby Wob? You're not going to be the recipient of that, are you?
Well, if bad stuff happens to Rob, that affects the whole show.
I guess that's a point. But don't you think this will hit him on the way home? Like he might.
You never know when
veer
the
into
bad
a ditch
luck's
or
going to
something,
happen. You never know. And look, it's rainy outside, so it might flood.
Listen, let's all calm down a little bit because you got a little hot under the collar over that. And I think it was a really good sound effect, Wobby Wob, and inappropriate. Now, anyways, today we have this is a really appropriate situation we've created.
That's true.
An environment because we have one of the great orators. We have one of the great storytellers on today, and there's nothing better on a rainy Monday than bundling up with a nice, beautiful story. Ira Glass. Ira Glass is our guest today. You've probably listened to him millions of times. He's probably regaled you with stories for hours and hours on This American Life, arguably the best thing in this space, This American Life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Also, I believe it was raining when we recorded this for real in New York City.
Yeah, because we were lugging all this gear around New York City, and it was raining, and I loved it.
Yeah, and I didn't like it so much.
No, because you have seasonal mood disorder, which
seasonal
people
affective disorder.
Probably know this about you by now. And it's self-diagnosed, which is most great disorders are.
Yep.
So, listen, we're huge fans of Ira, and we felt flattered that he made time for us. We even went to his studio, which was fun. It was a glorious day. And I don't really know what you included, but I just want to add one thing because it's probably not in there because it dips so deeply into my interview with you. But boy, Ira got on the case. First, he was being interviewed.
It's not in there.
Okay, he was being interviewed, and he had a certain kind of engagement. But then he turned the tables on Monica and started asking her about her personal life. And then I saw the tiger leap out of the forest.
Sure.
He got a scent of blood, and it was just thrilling to be there with him as he pulled the story from you.
He got in his element.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job. He's good at what he does.
He should keep doing it.
Yeah.
Without further ado, Ira Glass.
We get support from Quince.
Have you been wearing the Quince linen shirts?
Yeah, I've been wearing them a suspicious amount. Yeah, European linen ones, they're $34, which is genuinely insane for how nice they are.
It doesn't even make sense.
Well, here's the deal. They work directly with the factories, cut out all the middlemen, so you're paying for the actual quality and not some brand's marketing budget. Everything's 50 to 80% less than comparable stuff. I love it because it's all very classic and traditional, and I know I'm going to be able to keep it for a very long time, and the quality's off the charts.
That's true. The style is very consistent. Whatever you get there, you walk down the street, you're going to look good. They have these lightweight cotton sweaters, which I love for when it cools down at night. It's nice drape around your shoulders in the summer and then throw it on when it gets a little cool. And it's not just clothes. They do home stuff, ding, 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 travel stuff, everyday essentials. It's all the same model, quality without the markup.
Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/Dax for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Dax. This episode is supported by Helix. All right, let's talk about something we both really care deeply about, sleep.
It's the most important thing. I've had my Helix mattress for years now, and I genuinely think it's one of the best investments you can make for your home. Mine still feels just like it did when I first got it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not one of those mattresses that caves in after 6 months. These things are built to last. And I'm a side sleeper. I ordered a side sleeper and I get hot, so I have cooling. And I can't tell you how much more comfortable it is to be in there, not sweating and tossing and turning.
Cooling is really important. I've read that you're supposed to sleep a little bit cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have cooling. And they have over 20 models. So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You just go take their quiz and they match you to what actually works for your body.
Plus, they've got cooling upgrades, which heading into summer, non-negotiable.
Truly.
Go to helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/armchair.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Ira Glass, first of all, this is rare for us. We're on a field trip. We've only done one other interview outside of our attic, and that was for the esteemed Ellen DeGeneres. So,
oh, wow.
Just want you to recognize the...
I feel honored. I heard her on your podcast. She was really good.
Very honest, yeah.
Yeah, I liked how you talked about her early career with her. In a way, I didn't know any of that stuff. And then she also was just like, a lot of that interview was her saying like, oh, you don't know this about me. And like they're filling you in.
Right.
It was really like, and I felt like, oh, but I didn't know that either.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if you have seen, she just did a stand-up special, and we went and saw her kind of, I guess, workshopping it as stand-ups do before they do their show. And a bunch of that was in there.
Wow.
That was all new to me.
That's really interesting. Yeah, like I loved hearing that on the show. It's not surprising that she would be doing the special because she's doing the special. Like Tig Notaro is her producer, right?
Right,
and Tig now like she goes for the pain.
Yeah,
right? Like, Tig would be the first person to realize
she kind of started what appears to be a new paradigm because that's also the Anna.
Hannah Gadsby.
Yeah,
Hannah Gadsby.
I saw perform live, and then I saw her Netflix special. Though I feel like she was like, I feel like what she was doing was on her own. She was inventing the same thing on another continent that people went. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to take credit away from her. I feel like she was coming to similar conclusions.
Good point.
Far away. Yeah.
Yeah. But a movement nonetheless, apparently in comedy where you're gonna get some of the pathos with the jokes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I work a lot with Mike Birbiglia, who that's been what I've watched him go from being a person who told little stories to being a person who then tells like big stories with full feeling and emotion and story arcs and pathos. All true. And I've watched him go through that too during this last 7 or 8 years.
I wonder what it is culturally that is now in demand or desirable. I wonder if because most of the content we're receiving is so snippety, whether it's Instagram and Twitter, that we have this hole now. Like you wouldn't want to go see a stand-up do punchlines.
I just want to stop you on your premise. I actually think like people say that, but I actually think the truth is more interesting. I think it isn't that most content is like short attention span. I think there's a lot of short attention span comic, but then the biggest things in the culture are like binge-worthy series that we spend like 40 hours watching. And so like to say that people don't have an attention span, like people have a huge attention span.
But now I'm gonna counterpoint that. Yes, I've made the same observation, and that is, in my opinion, because drama does not lend itself to snippets. So, if you watch what's happened with the binging of TV shows in the golden era of drama on television,
which is now,
we're right in the cradle of it. It replaced a whole strata of movies that Hollywood made. There was all these $35 to $60 million dramas that were made, and they've completely disappeared.
Right.
Now, there were also a ton
broadcast news, terms of endearment, like that whole generation of...
Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I now go back and watch those, like I watched broadcast news not too long ago, I thought, oh, this would be a show now. And it would be great because we could do it for 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So we know where those movies went. They went straight to Netflix. Now, the mystery is, where did comedy go? Because there's far, far fewer comedies, theatrical comedies, and especially successful ones. And it didn't migrate to television. So you're not seeing a huge uptick in the viewership of like Kristen's show, any of these shows that are, by today's standards, successul comedies.
Kristen, you're referring to?
Your mistress, my wife, Kristen Bell.
I just wanted to see what happens up on the show if I say, Kristen, who?
Kristen Bale. But it seems to have gone away. The audience, the huge audience for comedy, and my personal armchair theory is that you can pick up Instagram, see a guy get hit in the head with a wheelbarrow, and you get filled up a little bit. You're like, oh, I got a good laugh. You know what I'm saying? That itch is being scratched. But drama, you need to settle in and be patient, and to get really emotionally invested, I think you need some time.
It's interesting you say that, because I think of now as being like a huge age of comedy. Just like all the people who came up with Judd Apatow after Freaks and Geeks, that whole clique of people. And then from the comedian side, it just seems like there's this army of comedians who tell stories about them and tell stories about themselves and talk about themselves, including Mark Maron, including Birbiglia, who I've worked with, including Tig Notaro, including Louis C.K. when he was working. Mm-hmm. Just like comedians seem to be out there. It never occurred to me there aren't that many comedies like as movies. That's what you mean.
I'm saying 8 years ago, in any given year, there were probably 9 comedies that crossed $100 million. And this year there wasn't a single one. Last year there wasn't I'm probably leaving out one or two. Like Girls Trip, that was a huge hit. But just in general, they're just not doing what they used to do.
Yeah.
But back to coming to your studio. Starting this podcast, I expect to be able to talk to other actors. But there are a handful of people, and you are so among them, that I feel so flattered that somehow we've earned the right to sit and take up an hour and a half of your time. I'm putting you in the category with the one that really blew my mind is Sedaris.
Yeah, I heard your thing with Sedaris. I loved your interview with Sedaris.
Yeah, and you have such a history with Sedaris.
Yeah.
But to have David Sedaris come up to our little attic in the middle of a construction zone, I thought, I'm dreaming. There's no way this is happening. But Ira, you're that person. You're also one of those people for me. So I don't feel worthy of sitting and talking to you. How much effort you've put into building this whole thing. And then I just kind of woke up one morning and thought, I'm going to do what Ira does.
That's really funny. I feel like, we've gotten to the point where it happens in every episode of the podcast where you start to admit your own insecurities. And am I achieving is this a part of the podcast where you ask the questions about do you dream that there's something better that you should be doing? Do you compare yourself to people who are more famous and more successful? And what do you do with those feelings?
I mean, basically, are you a human is the question.
Yeah.
But I want to start at the beginning. You're from Baltimore.
Yes.
Yeah. And Baltimore, if I'm to believe The Wire, rough town in the 70s and 80s.
If you've seen The Wire, you've seen exactly where I grew up. That's right. I did work the projects selling drugs for a long time and then got out. Yeah, no, I grew up in the suburbs.
Okay.
And so it was not super well-off suburban area where I grew up. Like, we were near the big Jewish suburb in Baltimore, Pikesville, but we didn't have the money to live in Pikesville. And,
Pikesville adjacent?
Yeah, kind of, in Lockern, but nobody ever says Lockern. You just say what's between Reisterstown Road and Liberty Road. And, went to a normal, decent, but not great public school and just really wanted to get out of there. But it was nothing like The Wire. It was just like growing up in the suburbs. When I'm in the suburbs anywhere, it feels very familiar.
Yeah, they're all kind of cookie cutter, aren't they?
Kind of, yeah. Though this was a particularly Jewish suburb, and I didn't understand that was unusual. But
I share that with you because I'm from a community right next to West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is a super dense population of Jewish people. So I assumed that every suburb was.
Yeah, my ex-wife was from exactly there. I know exactly that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are told that it's the second highest concentration outside of Israel. I don't know if that's true, but that's certainly what we're told. Monica will fact check that.
Of Jews?
West Bloomfield. Look, you seem very suspicious.
Concentration,
already.
You mean percentage, or you mean
per
sheer
capita,
number per capita?
Not sheer numbers. That's got to be New York.
Right. Your number's got to be New York.
Yeah, we think. So it's
Well,
a
I don't
per
know.
capita
I look
density.
forward to the fact checking.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll
We had
find
a few
out.
claims in my childhood. We also were the blackest city in the country, Detroit. It was 92% black when I was growing up, which was the highest.
It's also the most Arab city in the country,
Yes.
or something like that. Or Dearborn is actually.
Our brand is the most.
the most. Exactly.
Yeah, which is suspicious. You can't be the most everything. Come on.
I just think it means that we're very compartmentalized in Detroit and its surrounding. But your mother, so I think we both, I've never met your mother, and nor have I even really heard you talk about her much, but I think we also share in common very strong mothers. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in middle school, she became a psychologist.
In the 60s, right? Or middle school 70s
early
for you.
70s, early 70s, yeah. And then she was a psychologist. She got her PhD. She became a researcher. She wrote a book about extramarital affairs, did survey research with people about affairs, but then also would see couples. That was a specialty in her practice, and had a whole theory actually about something that was changing.
I'm interested in this paradoxical way of living we've chosen.
Monogamy.
Of monogamy.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that my mom discovered that was new at the time was she found through survey data that she did, and then was seeing it in her own practice. Like the quickest way to summarize it is that people would have affairs who weren't unhappy in their marriage. Which, if you think about it, of course that's true for some people. But she was finding it was a significant percentage of the men and a smaller percentage of the women. And what was going on in the 70s when she was doing this research was that more and more women were in the workplace as equals to men. And so in her practice, people would come in and people would say, like, I'm happy in my marriage, but like you spend 10 hours a day with somebody at your office and you get closer and closer to them. And then, then stuff happens. And then without them having meant to when they began that process. And so that was part of what she was seeing. And it had like clinical application, because what would happen when you went into a therapist back then is if you went in and said like, well, I cheated on my partner, but I want to stay with my partner, the thing that the therapist would talk about is what's wrong with your marriage. And in like a third, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's like a third of the cases with the men, nothing's wrong with the marriage. They're happy with marriage.
Totally happy.
And by trying to talk about what's your wife doing that's like annoying you, well, you can always find something.
Yeah.
And it was just sending people down the wrong path, whereas the right path, she was saying, was the lying. Like basically, you lied to your partner. It's completely traumatic for the person you were with. And that's the actual problem the couple has. If they want to get back together, that should be front and center for these couples. The other thing she said was that she was very strong in this. She said the point at which you've cheated is not when you kiss for the first time. And she says there's a very specific moment in the cases she was seeing, and she's like, that's when you cross the line, and she could name it. And it's so usable as a thing that I've really carried it with me. And it's the moment when you confide in the other person about
Your partner.
Your partner.
yeah. It's like as soon as you confide in one about the other, that person's your primary person. So as soon as you're telling the person at work, well, my wife's kind of driving me crazy or whatever, at that point you've crossed the line and you've broken your vow. And she said then kissing is just like, that's just going to come.
Sure.
And actually operationally, it's actually very concrete, because you can just be like, if you feel yourself start to do that, you stop yourself.
Right.
If you want to stay with your partner. And it's like just a really good rule of thumb.
So is it safe to say that she did value fidelity and she thought monogamy was something that was worth?
She did. Yeah, but she was also
Well, 'cause I could
treating
see
people
where you
who
would-
wanted, she was treating people who wanted to stay together. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I could see where you would, if you started really looking at all the mechanics of it and started understanding the psychology of it and everything, I could see it as happens when you look at things scientifically, you get kind of dispassionate about it or clinical about it. Like anthropologists, you go to enough cultures and like they're practicing polygamy or whatever, polyandry, all these things. It just kind of, you go, oh, it's a choice and it's cultural. And so it's not God ordained and it's not, it starts to become a little more,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you saying this to say that you're against monogamy?
I'm not against monogamy. What I am interested in is, can we be honest about the whole endeavor, realize some things, and then say to ourselves, oh yeah, the whole thing's counterintuitive and illogical, yet it does work. Like I'm open to having a full conversation about the decision. And then the answer might be, oh no, it makes no sense. We're not supposed to live this way. But counterintuitively, the result ends up being great or healthy for you,
Yeah.
There's many things like I've come to recognize that a lot of things that are patently illogical still bear great fruit. Did you watch Wild Wild Country?
I watched a couple of episodes of it and was so blown away by how much those ladies still loved that guru.
The Bhagwan.
It's amazing. Like
He had rhythm.
Yeah.
And to look at the craziest part of that, let me just tell you, because you probably don't know.
Wait, are you bringing that up as an example of like a counterexample to monogamy?
Not of monogamy as much as if you break down what that guy's telling them and the things they're doing. I can't really defend any one of the premises. But if I look at the results of their life, they're dancing around, they're happy and they're joyous and all these things, who am I to say? I could get bogged down in his explanation of why they're feeling that way. Or I could just look at like, what was their physical life? What were their actions? What day to day did they do? Maybe, maybe the results, maybe the ends justify the means.
I feel like I feel lucky when it comes to this question, because I feel like I understand that for some people, this is a question about like, is monogamy the way to be? But like personally, I don't feel comfortable if it's not monogamy. Like literally, like I just got divorced a while ago and just started dating. And the thought of like dating more than one person at the same time just gives me the willies. I feel like I would feel so like, I don't know, like protective of each person in that situation, or just like scared of getting one of them mad at me for being with the other one. Like any situation where there could be triangulation, like I just couldn't be into. Like I even I've never even understood, like I know that like people have three ways and I just can't imagine. That seems like the most unpleasant for somebody who's like a people pleaser and just like worried about what other people are. I can't imagine like why anybody would even want that. It just doesn't seem fun.
Well, I wanted it very bad, and I've had a couple in my day. And what I found was when it's two ladies, what inevitably happened for me is I just like one more than the other. And then I feel bad, to your point, because I'm a codependent. I'm like, it's pretty obvious I like this one more, right? I'm like kissing more maybe with her.
But then it's like, it's sort of hurtful to the other one.
Yeah, so now there's just someone I basically want to leave because it's making me feel bad that I picked one. Unless you were maybe with identical twins, I don't know how you wouldn't favor one of the two people, or at least in my experience, I favored one. Now, a couple times I've been with a friend and one lady, and that works great.
Wow.
Because
I'm sorry, I'm just like sort of pausing. Like I don't know any man who I'd want to like take off my clothes in front of and have take off my clothes in front of and have sex with somebody else. Like I don't have any friend who's good. Maybe you're just,
you don't have a childhood best friend
who I'm still friends with, and I would take off my clothes in front of and have sex with some lady? No.
If this interview goes perfectly for me, we'll take our clothes off at the end.
He's also the most open human on planet Earth, so that's also part of it.
I know.
Yeah, that would be very uncomfortable for you.
Yes, there's been no day of my life when I felt a kind of body confidence where I was just like ready to I feel like, there's been no. I was like a chubby kid and never really like totally got rid of the chubbiness just meaning like it's not, that's not my path.
What if the friend,
I feel like if I can convince somebody to really super like me and the lights are a little bit low, I'm okay.
Sure.
So would you be a little bit afraid in that scenario that you would be the unfavorable person? Like, is that part of the...
Oh, good question.
I wouldn't even get that far. That's even more sophisticated than what I would feel.
But Ira, what if the friend...
I would just feel bad from the start.
You'd just be uncomfortable.
But Ira, what if the friend was objectively, by today's standards, in much worse shape than you?
That would make it feel a little better.
Right?
Yeah, no, that would be a little better.
So in this hypothetical scenario...
I'm the hot one.
Yes, you're the hot one. Does that...
I'm the Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, you're the Ashton Kutcher. And I'll tell you, so one of the elements is like, I think, I don't know if you're like me, but there's a healthy amount of performance anxiety in any sexual encounter. You're like, really want to make sure you're pleasing the person. Mm-hmm. So that just cuts the workload in half right there.
Oh, I never thought about that.
And if it's a total disappointment to her, you're at least shouldering the blame. It's like, it always helps to fail with a partner, in my experience.
It just seems more vulnerable because there's two witnesses to it. I don't know. The whole thing seems like, also it just seems like awkward. Like I don't know. Is it physically awkward?
No, it's beautiful. It's like a ballet if it's executed.
But was this like, were you sober during these things?
Yeah, the first one was in high school with,
wow.
I don't think he'd care, my very best childhood friend, Aaron Weekly. Yeah, we found ourselves in a menage a trois.
No wonder you love him so much. All he does is talk about Aaron. Yeah, exactly.
You literally have had sex with him.
Now we know.
And I guess, too, I had a comfort level with all the other three gentlemen in these scenarios. I was quite certain they had zero attraction to me. So it's not like I had my guard up, like, oh, is one going to get handsy with me?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I've hijacked your segment. Listen.
I don't know, like, yeah.
But
yeah.
Fidelity-wise, it's something that you value, for sure.
It's not even like I value it like fidelity. I just find that, like, I find like I'm not really built for...
juggling those emotional.
Yeah, like I don't want anything complicated. I want things to be really simple. I feel like I'm not saying this out of principle. I don't think it's better. I just understand.
Yeah, you're not saying there's like a moral imperative.
There's no moral imperative. It's just I know I can't handle it.
Logistically.
Like I just think it's not built for it. And it's good because it takes a lot of questions off the table. You know what I mean? Like it makes things simpler.
Oh, it's way. In fact, my brother and I often talk about how excited we are for when the penis just completely stops working. I feel like that's just going to free up so much of my mental space, my free time.
Huh. That's interesting. I've interviewed people about that who are on the other side of that. And they do say, like, yeah, it does free up some time.
Right.
Like older men. There was one interview I did with a writer in particular. But then in the middle of interviewing him about it, he got a little...
aroused.
That's the funniest thing you could possibly say. Yeah, it just made him hot.
And he ran out of the room.
And he suggested a menage a trois.
He got a surprise boner and then just left the interview. I've got to use this while I've got it. I can't let this go to waste.
Like, yeah, exactly.
But when you were, how long were you married?
I mean, we were together for like 20 years. We were married for a lot less than that. But over 20 years we were together.
And you had to have been confronted with the thing that happens to anyone that ends up in the public eye, where all of a sudden you have options that you're really not entitled to have. Like you can.
But for me, it was simpler. Like in a way, like knowing I had a partner, it was nice to just be like that's fine. This is off the table. Like I don't know. Like it wasn't. I didn't.
There wasn't a high school kid in you that's going like, wait, the cheerleader likes me. That's.
I mean, my wife was really good looking.
Yeah. I looked at pictures of her today.
And,
very
I don't know. It
attractive.
wasn't like I didn't have any leftover feelings like that. Like before she and I got together, like I went out with a lot of people, and so I felt
okay.
I felt like that was fine. I was good.
I think that's part of the equation then.
Yeah. Like I didn't need to, and it was a relief to not be in it. In a way, like there's like a kind of innocent getting to know somebody when you know that nothing's ever going to happen. Like it actually like opens you up to a kind of super safe talking to somebody who's like charming and attractive, because when you've already decided like I'm just not interested. Like it was in a way it was freeing.
Well, it makes you the guy who can't get an erection. Basically, you can just kind of.
I don't know. I didn't see
it. Fast forwards you to that state.
To that state of being an old man. Yeah.
You're just like an old man becoming friends with a gal.
Yeah.
Did you find it exhausting? I found it emotionally taxing to date, because saying to somebody, you know what, I don't want to go the whole way with you. I like you, but I don't love you. All those conversations you have to have while dating.
Yes.
They're rough, right?
Yeah. Yes. I'm not sure how much I can talk about this because I'm so like in the world of this, but yeah, like it's confusing to know, because it turns out there's a lot of people who I think it's possible to get close enough to that you want to sleep with and it's fun to hang around with. And then it's really hard to evaluate. So do you want to stay with them? Like, it's just hard to know. And honestly, when things were bad in my marriage and I did start to imagine, like, well, if I were to be with somebody else, who would I be with? Like, I had such a clear picture in my head of what it would be. and nobody I haven't met anybody like that in person at all. Like I just figured it would be like another reporter, like writer, a peer, like my own age, and I have been with people my own age, but like just like nobody like that. Everybody's been so different, and then I've had to kind of like push away that picture and just be like, I don't know, like I'm truthfully feel very like new to this, and I did not wish for it. Like I really was not unhappy with the idea of being with somebody till we're dead. Like that seemed like a great idea. Yeah, till we're dead.
Yeah.
There is a parallel though, because, and you shouldn't feel, I don't think anyone should feel guilty about it. It's like, think how many people are in your friendship circle, but you have a best friend or two.
Mm-hmm.
So like in that paradigm, like, yeah, there's tons of people you'd like to see once a week or once a month or twice, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
But there's only a handful you'd like love to see 7 days a week. And the same as for a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's to be expected, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Now, having us,
but I have to say, like dating people, like I'm 59, like I'm really old.
First of all, you are so youthful. I don't say that to flatter you. When I looked you up today, I was like, wow, that blows my mind. Ira's 59 because I think of him as like being 40.
Right, but that's because
so-
I'm very immature or something.
No.
I think I have I don't know, or it's just a part of me. Yeah, I think actually is. But anyway, but
I know what it is, and it's something I want to talk to you about is how on earth do you keep your enthusiasm and curiosity alive for such a long period of time? But that was going to be a later question. But I think one of your crowning accomplishments as a human being is that you're still on fire to
that's nice of you
learn
to say.
stories. And you don't seem to have gotten like, oh, I'm in a routine or a rut or I'm bored. Like you've sustained your passion, which I think is very hard. It's hard for me personally.
No, it's hard. Like, can I say though, it's more of like there's a little bit of illusion in it because it like I do go through periods where I'm tired and it's hard to like find a story or think about a story or get excited about a story. But fortunately, like I'm working on a show with 10 other people, and for all of us, like we all go through like sort of periods where we're on fire and where we're not. And fortunately, there's enough of us that as long as somebody's excited about something, it creates the illusion that the whole show is excited about something.
Right.
And so when I've had like a few months where things weren't so great for me personally, and I, just like fortunately, like I work with other people who are so super talented that I could just coast on their complete skill and enthusiasm, and the world would never know. And then the fact is, like, I really am interested in stuff. Like, I get excited when we're doing stories. I get excited at figuring out how to make the stories really sparkle. And sparkle seems like a dumb word, but like,
no, I think that's a great description of what you guys are great at.
And then I'm nosy, like I'm a nosy person, and I the advantage of the format of show that we're in is it really does exist for our own amusement as a staff, and anything that we're interested in, we just run at, and any idea that we can think to do, like it really, we have a very strong sense of mission, but really we also understand that like we are out for our own fun. And like, it's not hard to get up energy for that because it's actually what we get to do is so interesting. We get to talk to anybody who we want ever. And,
Well, you've built this incredible thing where when you guys call, people generally,
No, that is so not true.
Oh, that's not true?
Oh, my God, no. Especially with people, especially when we're doing the kind of reporting, when we're doing political stuff or where, nobody, we just did a whole show on immigration policy and we couldn't get anybody in the administration to talk to us.
Really?
Because they don't talk to any reporters, really. But they see no upside to talking to the press. And they view public radio as being hostile to them. Wrongly, I would think, but whatever. And no, it's very hard to get people on the political stuff. And then we spent 8 months doing these shows about a little town in Alabama. And people didn't know who we were. And people didn't want to talk to us. They're normal Americans. So a reporter shows up. Why am I talking to you? What's in it for me? Why would I talk to you? If I call up a comedian, I can get the call answered. And the advantage of the show doing so well and being around for so long is if there's a writer who we want to try to talk into coming on the show or something, they'll know us and they'll come.
Yeah, I guess I'm trapped in my own experience with the one time you reached out to me to potentially be a part of a story.
Yeah.
My eyes got as big as saucers. I was like, oh, the notion that I could be a part of this American life.
But you're on TV. Like, what are you talking about?
Because I hold, I worship and idolize certain things. And this American life is definitely one of them. Like, if I got to be on, here would be the pantheon for me. We'd have to go back in time for one of them, but to sit at that stupid round wooden table with Charlie Rose with that abyss black background and have him talk to me.
Really? I've done it.
You've done it.
Yeah. I have to say, the best conversation I ever had with him was backstage at a thing we were doing at BAM, at your regular venue in New York. BAM.
Sure. My clubhouse in Brooklyn.
Yeah, the little clubhouse and the little 2,000-seat clubhouse that you call home. And we were backstage for like something that he was doing, interviewing people. And I just asked him to describe his day to me back then. And it was fascinating because, he would get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, if I remember this right. And then he would read the newspapers and prep for his TV show. And then he would be on television from like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. or I don't remember the exact numbers. And then he would go and take like a 1-hour nap, and then he would prep for his second television show, for his PBS show.
Wow.
And then do that. And then he would like go out.
Yeah. I saw him only one time in real life at the Spotted Pig in New York. And it was Valentine's Day. I was there with Kristen Bell. Make you happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then our friends Ryan and Amy, and we were on basically a 4-way Valentine's date. But old Chuck Rose was next to me with a younger lady. Now, again, this is pre any revelation about anything. And just killing a couple bottles of wine. And I missed our entire, and I admittedly to Kristen, she was said well, should we go or not? And I'm like, honey, I haven't heard a word you're saying. I am eavesdropping on Charlie Rose on this date. Desperate.
A little closer. I'm just getting nervous and we're going to mess up all the audio.
No. Get closer to the mic. I'm sorry. I'm a radio nerd. I'm just like, please work the mic a little closer.
No, you know what this is like? Is if Tiger Woods just helped her with her swing.
Yeah.
What could be better?
Yeah. I'm not afraid of advice from the best.
The best in the biz.
Yeah.
Now, why not? Because we're on this road. So my other thing would be 60 Minutes. Have you been a part of a 60-minute segment?
No, I maybe shouldn't admit this on tape, but I've seen 60 Minutes maybe 3 times.
I'd tell you to get the fuck out of my attic, but I'm in your soundstage. So.
Yeah, I haven't really seen it much.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just don't watch much TV.
You don't?
No.
But you seem to listen to a lot of stuff. I mean, the fact that you've listened to our podcast really absolutely blows my mind, even though we have a personal friendship.
Well, when you guys booked me, I thought I should know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Smart.
So it's that you hadn't heard it prior to
I had. Well, it wasn't before you booked me. It was around the same time that you guys booked me, a month or 2 ago. I knew
my
you guys
agent reached out, Kristen.
Your
Bell.
agent, Kristen Bell. It's true, actually.
100%.
Kristen emailed me. Yeah, I did wonder about that. I was like, God, poor Kristen, man. Dax, you have my email.
I've never asked her to do this. This is one of her many benevolent traits. She'll just go I'm going to ask Ira for you.
I was wondering if she's booking the whole show.
Well, she knows I hate asking people to do anything.
It's hard to do. Oh. But anyway, so she emailed me that you guys were coming to New York for the podcast. I was like, wait, there's a podcast? And then I started to listen. And I've enjoyed it. I did more than a perfunctory number. I started to get into it.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare. We are supported by Auto Trader. All right, if you've been putting off car shopping because it sounds like a whole thing, buying your car online on Auto Trader makes it way easier, really. You can shop tons of cars online, compare prices, check financing and trade-in options, all from wherever you are. And if you want to start online and go to the dealership for a test drive, you can do that too, really. What I like is the flexibility. Start online, finish at the dealer, or the other way around. Your info stays with you, so you're not starting the process from scratch. Plus, you're working with local dealer listings, so you've got real people helping behind the scenes. And when you're ready, you can pick up your car or have it delivered. Really. Buy your car online on Auto Trader. Really. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high-yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply.
Confidence. It's listening to your gut. It's moving forward even when the path ahead is unclear. For nearly 160 years, Pacific Life has helped people keep their promises, building confidence for generations. Whether you're confident in your financial future or just beginning to envision it, we're here to help. Ask a financial professional how. Pacific Life, the power of a promise. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York, Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
I do have 2 questions about the show.
Good.
Okay. And I'll ask them in the order that are easier to answer. Question number 2 is, why is it so long?
I can tell you exactly why. The shows I love are long. So I thought, why would I do Sam Harris? I love Sam Harris. That's 2, sometimes 3 hours.
How do you have time to listen?
Takes a week or so.
Real Americans drive an hour to work and an hour home from work. So Monday, it's like they get halfway through on the way there, and then they're done when they pull in their driveway. So for them, but I will say,
I see that.
When we started, we were advised this is a lot more sellable as a 1 hour thing, and I stressed out about that. And then I thought, fuck that, I got to do the thing I like doing. Or the thing I would consume. Minimally, you should try to do the thing you would consume, I think.
Minimally. That's the base level. It's like the golden rule, do unto others. Like, of course, you have to make the thing that you would want to consume. Of course. That's the primary importance.
And in fact, unlike you, I'm furious that Radio Labs end at 48 minutes. Like, I'm pissed. I hear a good Radio Lab. I'm like, I'm in for 3 hours of that topic.
Yeah.
I get frustrated. If I love something, I'm an addict. I want it to never stop.
Are you listening to The Daily?
No. What's The Daily?
Best podcast out there.
Really? What is it about?
New York Times puts it out. It's 20 minutes a day. And basically they take the day's news from the previous day and they do it as narrative. So it's stories.
That's cool.
And it's really just incredibly well done. And often it's just really like the person who wrote the lead story for the New York Times and maybe one of their interviewees. But like sometimes it's like lyrically beautiful. They did one 2 weeks ago from the time that we're recording this about when the hurricane hit North Carolina. They did this hurricane thing about when the hurricane hit in Houston, this 2-parter with this guy whose wife had just had surgery and he brought her back home and they couldn't, and like she started to have medical problems and they couldn't get somebody to come in and get her out there because the 911 was so overloaded with calls. And it's the most like beautiful, sad, like totally fucked me up thing. But then just this last week, like you and I were recording this in the week right before the Supreme Court hearings where the woman came forward about Judge Kavanaugh, and they did a thing which was a kind of an obvious thing to do. A woman wrote this article for The Atlantic, which I hadn't seen, about how she had been attacked by a boy when she was in high school, and she fought him off, just like the woman who claims that she fought off Judge Kavanaugh. And she just wrote about what it did to her. And just to hear somebody say, like, no, this was 30 years ago, and here's how that was traumatizing then, and its effects that lasted and didn't last, and just here's what I make of this. And it just made super real the thing that we've been talking about in the abstract. I think maybe not for a lot of women, but I think for me as a man, like I understood in an abstract way that somebody like molesting you in high school could still have lasting effects that you would feel into adulthood, but didn't really know it emotionally, like in a way where you feel like, oh, right, if that happened to me, I would feel exactly that. And just hearing her lay it out was so valuable. I just felt like, I am so glad you did this. And again, it'll just be like 20 minutes, or they'll be like, let's explain to you why this thing is happening in North Korea. And they'll go back to like 1960. They'll say, okay, let's start back, and they'll just like walk you through it really fast and entertainingly. And the production is great. And it's just the very most useful, thoughtfully made thing that's out there.
I want to say back to your passion, because one thing I'm curious.
I want to get back to the number one
Your 2 questions.
Oh.
And I want to add something to why it's so long real quick. Because since it's a conversation and the goal is to get into some deep water, people don't just immediately become vulnerable.
But then you can cut out
No,
those
but
parts.
then
We
it
cut
feels
out a
very
lot.
unethical, in my opinion, to not provide the context. Like to just cut into a moment where I can't even think of one that we've had.
Even something semi-benign of talking about a divorce or something. Like if you cut out how you got there and it's just like immediately you're in, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's portraying the person correctly necessarily.
No, I see that. It just is so weird to say like you're going to listen to a thing for 2 hours.
It's long. Trust me, I know.
But yes, from your point of view, it's the very opposite because you have all audio of, let's say, someone in Kentucky who experienced something and you've interviewed them for maybe 6-7 hours. And then, yes, you're going to take the 11-minute breakthrough they had. And we're going to right to it.
We're going to walk through beat by beat in the way that we feel like is going to get to each feeling in order. Like we're not going to do the thing you're scared of, Monica. Like, we're just going to like walk you through it in a way that'll have the most feeling.
But you have the advantage of narration.
Yes, that's true. And also of like just the time to like think through the beats of the story. And
you'll go, Gail's dad left when she was 3 and she blah, 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 blah. And then you basically, you prime us, you give the context. By which now this huge confession or emotional moment will make sense. But if I do that to someone, Ellen DeGeneres, who has spent her whole life...
No, I see that.
It just feels like I can't just cut into her going...
No, I don't argue. Okay, so then my number one question is...
Well, complain, I think. Let's be honest.
No, it's not a complaint. No, it's like an actual question because I haven't heard you talk about it on the podcast. Is why did you want to do a podcast?
That's very simply answered.
You haven't listened to all of them clearly because he has talked about it.
You have talked about it, okay.
Yeah.
I was the guest on many, many podcasts, and I enjoyed being a guest so much. And as someone who mostly has been interviewed in 7-minute segments on talk shows, and there's a huge demand to be...
You have to hit your plot points and be funny.
I got to crush in 7 minutes or it's a failure.
Yeah.
To go onto these shows where like just being Dax is enough.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And then also the feedback I got from, say, being on Sam Jones's 1-hour-long show or Mark Maron's podcast or Nerdist.
Stern.
The response was people would go like, oh, I really know you. And I really like this thing about you. And I really relate. I could have never got that on Kimmel.
Right.
I just loved being a guest. And I thought, if I like being a guest so much, why aren't I doing this weekly? I like talking to people for 2 hours. It's this is my hobby, is shooting the shit, as I think is your hobby. That's why you and I like each other.
That's true. That's true.
Put us in a room. Like, I don't want to meet you at a restaurant or at a fucking event. I want you to come sit in our living room.
Right.
And I want to talk to you.
Right.
That to me is a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's just intoxicating. I thought the complaint you were going to say, which is I'm embarrassed of, is I talk about myself a ton.
Yeah, but I like that.
Well, I wouldn't like it. But can I just say there's a method to it, which is, and it's not cynically a method, but if I want you to be honest about your thing.
Please, I know this trick. Of course.
Yeah.
And it's not even a trick. No,
it's not. It's sincere, but it's required.
No. Like the person who taught me, my mentor at NPR, this guy, Keith Talbot, he always said that an interview is a party that you're throwing, and the guest will act the way that you act. And so if you tell stories, they'll tell stories back.
Yeah, and there's almost like a social responsibility.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to meet you there.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I want to go back to what I find to be your crowning accomplishment is that you've kept your passion alive. I do wonder, is part of it that there are chapters in this ride? So one is probably right out of the gate, just like, oh my God, I'm going to be in journalism. That's a ton of fuel in the tank. Isn't that, did you have a romantic notion about like being a journalist and being on the radio?
I didn't before I got into it. Like I really backed into it. Like, and in fact, like the whole first 10 years I was doing radio, I was not that good. And in fact, the whole drama of my 20s was getting from and I've talked about this a lot in public. Like I give speeches, like go around to public radio stations and give talks. I just did one last night. And like one of the things that's always like a surefire part of it is to just play stuff from like year 7 or 8 of when I was doing this because I'm terrible.
Good for you.
I'm terrible.
I'm so glad you do that.
And it's just like encouragement to people who are trying to like get their thing together. Like I was so bad for so long. And in a way where like I have recordings, I can prove it. It's not some weird humble brag or something. And also like, it's funny, I only realized this like this last year is that when I was a kid, my heroes weren't journalists at all. It was all just like, there were certain comedians I loved. I liked plays.
Yeah, I was going to say you were in drama.
I was in drama. I was a drama nerd. And so when I started at NPR, I didn't know anything about journalism. I was just looking for like a summer internship. Like I wanted to do something in the media, TV, radio, or something advertising. And like I happened to be able to talk my way into NPR in Washington, which at that point had only been on the air for like 4 years. Nobody was listening. It was tiny. And
you were 19?
Yeah. Like, so this is 1978. And they started in 1973, and it was this tiny little operation. There's no morning show. They had only had a couple of shows.
You got in at the ground floor.
I got in at the ground floor, yeah. And they didn't even have an internship program. You just had to talk somebody into letting you stick around. And just liked it. And then started on the staff of All Things Considered as a production assistant, just as a kind of summer job. And there was this guy who became kind of my mentor. There was a guy on staff to invent new ways to do radio documentary, and basically worked for him for a couple of years and learned half of what I know. And then at some point, I just went to work for the news shows, trying to apply what I had learned from him, from this guy, Keith Talbot, to the things we were doing on the news shows. And then just like led me down a path of trying to invent a kind of radio that sort of combined what I'd learned from Keith with what I was learning at the news shows. And that felt right to me. Well, and that just took forever. Like I was bad for so long. And then finally, when I was like 29 or 30, I was like competent. I was good. And then I started the show when I was 35, 36.
And how did that come about?
I mean, I had this idea. Like at that point,
you were in Chicago at this point?
I was in Chicago. Yeah. At that point, I was getting assignments from NPR. Like they would send me into a high school for a year.
Oh my gosh.
And I would file every week or two from this one high school.
And would it be like a 20-part story? How were they?
Yeah. It was like there was this one high school that was kind of trying every trendy thing you could do to fix their high school, and everything they tried failed. And it was like really fascinating actually why it failed.
Yeah.
And so you got to know the teachers and the principal and different kids over the course of the year. This is all in All Things Considered. And then after that year, my editor was like, you have to find a school that's improving. This was too depressing. And so I found an elementary school which was doing like a killer job, and we did a year there. And so I was doing these stories which felt a lot like This American Life, except presented in a more public radio-y way. Like the narration wasn't just like me talking. But what it had that was similar were characters and scenes and funny moments and emotional moments, and building around story arc instead of around the news. Like it was very much, but also driving at ideas, but building the way you build a screenplay, where you're building around story arc and how are the characters changing and what are their feelings at each beat of the story. And then at the same time, I thought I want to do something else besides this. And with two friends, started a late night show on Friday nights on the local public radio station, WBEZ. And that show, what I was doing was practicing performing differently on the air, and basically learning to talk on the air the way that I talk in real life.
Isn't that funny? Because that's virtually what you do as an actor. It can take you 15 years to find your voice, your real life voice, while a camera's rolling.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't occur to me, right?
Like anytime I'm working with Kristen on an audition, or my sister or Monica or whatever, or we're all helping each other, I'll just go, you're almost at your voice. It's weirdly just even an octave, like you're almost there, but you're not in your voice.
Wait, are you saying like literally like your voice is pitched high?
Yes, it's or so low or slow or fast or whatever.
It's interesting because there's a studio trick that we do with people, and that sometimes I have to do with myself, because often like on Fridays when we put out the show, I'll be running into the studio to record narration, and I'll be reading badly. And often I find what's happening is I'm kind of talking up here and kind of overselling. Yeah. And I have to be like, no, you talk, where do you talk? You talk down here. And like literally like pitching your voice down to like making yourself speak more low.
Yeah.
Is actually a broadcast trick to like actually make your performance better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are many approaches to acting, but one that I most believe in is like, let's at least start with your voice,
God,
Kristen.
I've never heard that.
How would Kristen walk into this room and tell me this thing? It's generally more boring than you're inclined to do.
Right, because you sell less.
You feel like you want to be theatrical or, passionate or whatever, but that's not life. And then weirdly, that thing is way more interesting undersold, right, in a performance.
I thought that once you get to be a professional actor, you don't have to tell yourself that. Like that's the thing that you actually like turn on. But
I think a large percentage of working actors don't ever even get there. Because I meet them in real life and I go, oh, that's...
Oh, really?
First of all, your voice is different in real life and your cadence is different. And almost without exception, I'm more interested in the real life version. And I think, why aren't you doing this? But I think...
that's interesting.
I read a great interview with Nicolas Cage one time that was saying it was not until he did that movie Face Off with John Travolta. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
They exchange faces. So basically, each actor ends up having to do an impersonation of the other for the whole filming. And Nicolas Cage said, until that moment, I had no idea someone could do an impersonation of me. I didn't think I was distinct enough as a human being that you could impersonate me.
Wow.
And watching Travolta do me made me, for the first time in my life, think, oh, I'm enough. I'm unique enough. I'm enough. I can be
that is so
mimicked, which tells me I'm enough. Like, what a weird, for how many movies had he done until that point?
So, like, obviously I can't ask you, like, what are the actors who don't do it, but like, what are actors who do the thing, who you admire, who are doing the thing that you're talking about as being the good thing?
Oh, yeah, I can think of a bunch of them. I think Mickey Rourke's great at it.
Yeah.
Like The Wrestler. I'm like, good for him. He let the info be the character.
Right.
Like, he's huge and he's scarred and we know this about him. And then he's just in his voice. I think he's great at that. I think generally actors on Jason Tatum shows like Friday Night Lights, most of that cast, I feel like they really, and that, I think that's a trick that you can do with improv. There's a couple great things about improv that can knock people out of bad habits. One is, because you don't know what's coming, you have to listen. It's essential that you listen to what I'm saying because it might change.
Wait, because Jason Tatum's was he Parenthood too?
Yeah, Parenthood.
And it was produced the same way. Was there improv in Parenthood?
Tons. Encouraged.
So you would go into the scene with a script or with plot points?
Full script. And you had permission, and it varied depending on people's aptitude for improv. But in my case, I was always really encouraged to
make it
DAX
yours.
it. Yeah. Put it through the DAX filter.
Yeah.
Which, again, I applaud his confidence to just go it's still mine even if you do that. But through improving, you have to listen. Your scene partner has to listen because you're going to get left hooks out of nowhere. And then secondly, you can only improv in your fake voice so well. You have to go into your real brain to be creating content, and then your real brain's creating your real content, and it can accidentally break you into yourself. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It seems tricky though to do that, and also to be that other guy who you're being in those scenes, who is definitely not you. That guy who you played in Parenthood is not you.
It's not, but again,
it's a part of you. Like, obviously.
Well, I'll go more, which is Daniel Day-Lewis. God bless him. I'm so glad we have a Daniel Day-Lewis. But I'm not Daniel. I can't do what he does. And he certainly is a character, right? He's I don't even know who Daniel Day-Lewis is.
Yeah.
But in general, I think people underestimate the power of story and the power of the information. So yes, I'm not Crosby, but I also wasn't single with a kid I never met. Like all that stuff, you do the work. The viewer did the work.
Right.
I just got to talk in Dax's voice, and then all those little things will make you say it's Crosby.
Yeah, I see that.
But it's cool that you were super interested in theater, and in drama.
And I feel like what happened is that without thinking about it, in retrospect, I see that once I actually learned what journalism was, I had this feeling of these stories are good, but they don't have all the feeling that I think a thing could have. And then basically just moved the journalism I was doing to have the form of a drama, of an old musical or something where they start off funny and then, they're about a bigger something and then they go to something sad at the end. And I feel like that's basically the prototypical This American Life story. It pulls you in with a funny little something, and then it turns out the stakes are bigger and about something, and the whole thing is about a bigger idea, and then goes to something more emotional at the end when it's working.
And were you so myopic in the process of making those that you were unaware that you were creating something entirely new, or did you have an awareness of that?
I'm not sure if it's entirely new. There are other people in radio doing things that are very much like it, but they just didn't turn out the sheer volume that I do. Like there's a guy named David Isay who did some stuff around the same time that I started This American Life.
But were you aware of him?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and there's a guy named Joe Richmond who does really beautiful work who we have on the show sometimes. Like there were a couple people kind of working the same territory, but like it wasn't like I heard their work and was imitating them. Like I was off in my own corner making a thing that made sense to me. I don't know. Like I didn't think of it as I'm inventing something original. I just really thought of it as I'm just inventing something that I like. I don't know. It just like, this works for me, this way of performing on the air and this way of structuring a story. Like, I don't have any other way to say it. Like that's all I thought about. And it wasn't like I was doing the other thing so well. Like I was a perfectly good regular reporter, but it wasn't as special as this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, one of the most surprising things to me is that this form of making a story has turned out to be so imitatable. And I'm glad. Like I feel like this way of structuring a story where you drive at scenes and anecdotes and then drive at ideas and you try to make it have a voice and that it's all a little more intimate than the way public radio had been before.
You never feel ripped off, like you don't.
No, I feel like, like Radiolab.
Yeah, I said Radiolab, and then I got self-conscious. I'm like, oh, should I be telling Ira I love Radiolab?
No, but I love Radiolab too. I feel like it's amazing. And I feel like, no, in a way, it's much more sophisticated than the production that we do in This American Life. I mean, it's less emotional generally, but that's out of choice. And when they go for emotion, they do it so beautifully and thoroughly. And in general,
did you hear
just
that episode, Blame?
No, that's a good one.
Oh,
really?
I literally could start crying just even saying that word.
Really? What happens?
There's 3 stories in the hour, one of them being a guy who adopted a young white couple, older, adopt this young black girl, and they raise her as their daughter. She becomes a social worker, and she's working on a case, and she comes to know this man. This man breaks into her house at some point, high on crack, and murders her. And the dad develops, not initially with this intention, but he develops this pen pal relationship with the guy in prison. In the story that unfolds, in the way this man could be forgiving and loving. Not from the Bible is there an example of someone living this way. I just heard this thing and I thought, oh, all my instincts are cancerous. Like I would want to kill the person who killed my daughter. And you want to talk about a fucking warrior, like a brave human being, as someone who could be kind and forgive. I just never seen an example of it like this ever. Wow. It's so beautiful. I just wanted to go meet this man and go like, how do you even become this way? And then it's great. You'll love it. But at a certain point, they've been pen pals for a long time. And the guy's now sober in prison. And he says, I need to know about that night. The dad asks.
Oh my God.
And he says, I knew this was coming and I owe it to you to tell you every single thing. And he does. And it's incredible. I can see this place on the road. Kristen and I were driving in Florida when we were listening to it. Like it's etched in my mind.
And I know that feeling of like when something really hits you. Like, yeah, you totally remember where you were when you heard it.
Yeah.
Like I totally get that too.
Suck in the whole environment.
So no, those guys are amazing. And when every time I hear Radiolab, I just feel like, oh, you guys are doing such a better job than us. The way the whole show sounds and just everything is so much more sophisticated.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not in your world, so I wouldn't have known that there were other people doing what you were doing. But just from me, from the outside, to me, This American Life is as unique as The Tonight Show. Like, to me, it's a thing that didn't exist before you.
I think we very much became... There weren't many people doing it, and they weren't doing it very visibly. And we became, because we were there every week, we became the single most visible exemplar of like this kind of thing. Nobody had ever done this much of it. And, we really pushed it as a staff. And we own it as a staff. I have to say, like at this point, like I do feel like we did invent a thing. Like,
and how many episodes have you done?
600 something, 680 episodes. I don't know. It's been on there for a long, it's been there since 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it's so weirdly hard. Like last week I worked 80 hours. The week before I worked 80 hours and worked both weekends and the weekends before. And just like, it's weirdly still very hard just like we keep trying to get more ambitious and do new things.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
So I would imagine a first chapter of your long story doing this is the excitement of creating the thing itself, right? That has to sustain you for quite a while.
When the show starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm.
Yeah. And also like the weird science experiment of it, of like, are we going to even, or is it even going to succeed? Like also nobody had ever made a show like this. And when we started the show, it was just me and 3 other people. And we made 48 episodes in the first year.
Oh my gosh.
Which is like now we make 30, you know, like, and it's a much
With way
bigger
more
Yeah,
people.
yeah. And like, and so it's just 3, like honestly, during those first 2 or 3 years, like those of us who worked on the show, we were never not working. Like there was never a point in the day, like, you know, just like we were either working or asleep. And then also, like we had to talk public radio stations into picking us up. That's another
really?
thing. Yeah, like the way that the public radio system works is like there's not like a network boss. It's radically decentralized. So every single station decides what they're going to take and when they're going to run it. And so you have to talk them all into it. So it took
So you're a
us...
salesman as well.
Yeah, and had to market the show to the stations and like had to invent things like we do these killer pledge drive modules. And one of the reasons why is because it was the only way we could get stations to take us. Is that they would make so much money off of us. Like you'll see around the office here, there's some postcards that we used to send out the first year or 2, which say like, don't pick us up because we're like trying to remake public radio. Pick us up because we will make you money. And then with like program directors saying like, we played one of their pledge modules and it made us $30,000, you know, in 10 minutes on a Tuesday morning. And like, you know, just yeah. Like,
and
so
not to get into your finances, but what is even the model? So you're making the show in Chicago, and then obviously every satellite NPR station that plays it, do they pay a
Well, at the beginning, no, they don't. At the beginning, they don't because they're offered so much stuff for free on the public radio satellite that you can't charge originally. And the idea is that you want to get on the air any way you can. So you give it to them for free for the first year or 2. And then at some point you have to start charging just to like make your money work.
Yeah.
And then traditionally you lose 15% of your stations. And then we were just like, we don't know how many stations we're going to get. Like our business model was to get on 60 stations by the end of our first year. We just thought like, with this Tori Malatia, who ran the public radio station in Chicago, and I, who like we ran the business side of this together, he was like, he's like, I like this, you like this, but I don't know if people are going to like this. So like, in a way, it was like exactly when we started Serial. We're just like, I don't know, we like it. I don't know if people are going to go for this. And so our business model was 60 stations by the end of the first year. And then basically you get grants. We had like foundation grants and stuff to get us on the air. And like our original budget for the first year was like $240,000, with which we paid the salaries for 4 people.
Oh, wow.
And also built a studio.
Places.
And also, we didn't fly many places.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
A lot of local.
No, it was a lot of like phone interviews and satellite interviews and you know, and also like, you know, did the marketing to stations, and it was really bare bones. And then as things go on, once you get a big enough audience, you can get underwriters who'll pay to get their name on the end of the show with those little, you know, things we do at the end of the show. And then at some point, a couple years in, you can start to ask stations for money.
Right.
And then that's the business model.
And so in podcasts must have opened up, like, is that the greatest thing ever? Because you guys own that catalog, right? And you can put it out now on your own platform.
Yes, absolutely. And then also like podcast has more than doubled our audience. Like we were at 2.2 million on the radio, and that's stayed the same for over a decade now.
Yeah, you're either listening to NPR or not.
Yeah, and then we've added 2.5 million on podcast.
Oh, that's so great.
So
that's incredible. So 5 million people in general.
A little less, but yeah. And so then the advertising money that came in through podcasting has really just changed what we're able to do and add reporters and reporting time, and able to really, like the story we ran this week about MS-13 on Long Island and these cops who basically more or less ignored parents who came to them and said, I think my kid's missing, might be murdered. And the cops are like, nah, he's a runaway. And, you know, for just ignoring evidence that they're bringing over and over and over. You know, that story like that takes 4 or 5 months. And we have, you know, like we could never have produced a story like that, a story that takes 4 months to make when we were starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you're ultimately going to get an hour out of, is that?
Around this week. Yeah, it was an hour. Yeah.
It's really admirable. Again, I feel terrible that we do something in real time. But I want to know, were there waves where you were losing enthusiasm, but then another element of
yes, absolutely.
The building, right? There has to be, do you enjoy the entrepreneurial?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, like one of the things that was good is that like I like running the business. Like I really enjoy it. It was interesting to me, the puzzle of having to talk stations into taking us, and just having to make the business work. And I like the budgets and spreadsheets and all. Like it comes easily to me. It feels like a game.
Yeah.
It's so much easier than writing or editing.
Sure.
Like it's easier than creative work. You know, it just seems like a nice break from having to like figure out like, wait, should this part of the story go here? Like, wait, did we get the right interview for this? Like, you know, just like all that kind of creative decision making. And no, I feel proud of the business side of it because like I feel like kind of like the weirder the project is that you have, the more cunning you have to be about the business side of it. And I feel like it was always very aggressive about seeing that the business side of it was competently managed.
It's unique for someone to have kind of both skill sets. You know, as a writer, to be a good.
It's funny, like I wasn't aware of that when I was doing it, but now that I know so many more creative people,
yes.
Yeah, like I don't know many creative people who actually enjoy it. In fact, all the creative people I know sort of resent it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't know, my dad was an accountant.
It's even true with actors. Like they like acting, and someone else is handling everything, and then you're just kind of like, wait, how are you broke? I'm confused. Like, weren't you doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, exactly.
So then I'm wondering, so building the actual business, which has become incredible. Like I jokingly said when we walked in here, like, let me see the empire, but that's not really a joke. Like you really have built something truly incredible. Has another bit of fuel in the tank been taking on the role of a mentor and giving people opportunity and supporting people with talent? Like, has that become something that is really fueling for you? And I don't say that in a saccharine way. Like,
I don't know. Like, I feel like I could be such a better like mentor. I feel like if anything, what I've done is at the show, just created an environment where everybody's on the same level. And we all just kind of work out what we're doing together. And then a lot of people just thrive in that kind of thing. And we edit each other. And like, it's just people understand that like if they have an idea, it can happen.
Well, but
and then a lot of people thrive. But I feel like other people on staff are much better mentors than me and have more time for it and more energy for it. Like,
mentor probably wasn't the right word. Do you not take tremendous pride in something like Serial, where you built this thing that allowed for somebody with this
skill set?
I mean,
without Ira, I don't know. How could you not feel like so happy that you gave those people an opportunity that turned out to be such a huge home run?
I mean, do I feel so much pride? I feel so aware of how hard it is to make Serial and how incredibly special both Julie, who produces and edits it, and Sarah, who writes it and reports it. I feel like they are both more skilled at what they're doing than I am at what either of them is doing. Like I could not do those stories that Sarah does at all, and I couldn't write them as well, and I couldn't that's a kind of reporting that just like she is so much better at than anybody. Like in a quiet moment, like, yeah, I feel, I guess, proud that they had the space to do that. But really, like, I don't feel like I take much credit for it.
I don't.
At all.
No.
Yeah.
I don't mean ownership over their accomplishment is like I feel it on a micro level when I direct a movie and I get to put people in it that I met at the Groundlings that didn't get an opportunity. No, I'm not like patting myself on the back. I'm just so excited to be a part of someone getting to do this thing they love, and I had a role in allowing them to do a thing they love. That feels to me better than my own accomplishments.
There are a lot of people who are talented and good, but who never get to shine or get their thing out there in any of these creative capacities. And you need cheerleaders and you need people to see you and usher you in. And if you get to be one of those people, like you are and you are, it should feel good and it should feel special.
I think that the thing that's holding me back is I feel very aware of how in a week-to-week way, I have so many things that I'm just trying to manage and get through and just get through the edits for that week's show and the stuff that I'm supposed to write, that it's not like I'm like holding people by the hand and like helping them make stuff. Like it's much more like a system of benign neglect where they know that like if they like I'll support them doing it and then sit in on edits and give notes and stuff. I don't know. I feel like my role isn't quite as active in their work. It's just that I happen to make a place where there was eventually enough money that we could make it happen.
But that's
That's
significant.
That's the accomplishment.
That's,
Yeah.
that's humongous.
I know, but like my experience of my week is so much more anxiety filled and running from one deadline to the next. That honestly, like that's my experience of my job, much more.
Right. But like last night, we went out on stage in Brooklyn. And I come out and they clap for a very long time, way longer than I deserve for them to clap. And that feels really good. That maybe is a 7 for me, right?
Yeah.
When Monica walks out and they go bananas for 3 minutes, I'm at a 10. Like I can weirdly experience it for her better than I can for myself. The amount of happiness it gives me to see Monica, this person I've known for 4 years that deserves that kind of thing, that just is overwhelming for me. And I just wondered if you had that kind of feeling now that you're in a position to build something that can amplify people that deserve amplification.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I mean,
Isn't
I
it
do feel that
great?
for them. Yes, that is great. Yeah, it's exciting. Yes, of course.
Now,
We love cereal.
we do. In fact, I should, as a stupid anecdote, you and I have the same ad salesperson in the podcast space, David Raphael, who's great. My very first conversation I had with him, he said one of the funniest sales pitch things ever. He said, I just want you to know I have the distinction of having undersold the worst ever. Because you guys pre-sold the initial cereal with no one knowing what it was. And then it had 50 million downloads or whatever.
That would be 17 million or 18 million downloads per episode.
Right, but cumulatively 50 million maybe?
But whatever 15, 17 million times 12 episodes is.
Okay, so even more, 150 million.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a lot.
And I can only imagine he modeled it out at
300,000 people per episode.
Oh,
right. So what a great thing as your sales pitch as an agent is I undersold something on a level that's never been done before.
Yeah.
So MailChimp really got a good deal.
They did get a good deal.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They deserve a good deal.
But they were there when nobody else was. So I'm glad.
The last thing I want to talk about before we go is I have to assume your identity is so interwoven with your profession and what you do and who you are as a creator and how that can be dicey or not. Navigating that, like how much of your identity is Ira Glass, a guy who creates this show or these many shows? Is that too abstract of a question?
No, I'm thinking about, maybe like I'm thinking about what is the answer to the
I guess
question?
let's say like you've had the experience where you were married for years and years and years, and then that can be a fracturing event for your identity.
To split up, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And similarly, if you take away like tomorrow, Ira Glass, there's no This American Life, there's no any of that stuff.
It's funny, like if I picture that, I just figure like, well, I'll just go back to whatever I was doing before. And if
There's no way it's that simple. Though.
Like I would just be like, I could just make little stories again. Like whatever, it'd be easy. Like, it'd be so much easier than my life now. Like, I don't know.
But a lot of your self-esteem has to be derived from how hard you work.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of my identity, sure, of course, is like I spend so many hours every week. There's some weeks, like the last few weeks, where we've just been in this production binge on these hard shows where it's like I'm almost doing nothing but making the show.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like in periods like that, it's like I'm not even thinking about what is my identity. I'm just like making my way through the trenches as we're like going from this edit to this edit to this edit.
Yeah, you cannot see the forest in that.
Yeah, and like, but I feel like so much of my life is like that. Like so many, I'll go for weeks at a stretch like that, and then kind of come out of it. And
have you had any
like
prolonged periods of not working?
No. And there's certain things that I've like never even done. Like I've never been camping. Like I'd never been hiking until just this summer. Somebody was like, "Let's go on a hike." I was like, it was just walking around, right? Like, it was just walking around. But yeah. They took me, like we live in New York City, and they're like, "Let's go upstate." Like we have a friend who has like a house upstate. We'll stay at their house over the weekend. I was like, great. And so we went upstate, and then like all these people who were upstate at these places that they have upstate. I was like, oh, I've never been away upstate. They're like, wait, how long have you lived in New York? I was like, over a decade. They're like, what do you... They're like, it was like incomprehensible. And I was like, I don't know. I've been busy. Like, I don't know what I've been doing. And I don't know. So I haven't really organized my life around many non-work things. Yeah. Like,
but that doesn't concern you at all.
It does concern me.
Okay.
Like, I think I'd be happier if there were more other things.
Do you think there's a certain amount? Do you like?
It's more like I kind of got in over my head and then didn't organize it well to get out of that. And then I like making the show. Like, I like making stories. Like, there's a part of it where it's just like, it's interesting to me still. And to get to the question you're asking of like, how much of my identity is caught up in it, like, I think a lot, like, obviously.
And do you think in this bubble where we're sitting now?
But can I say, if it went away, I feel like I'd be totally fine and it would be a relief.
Really?
Yeah.
I would just, as an experiment, I would just want you to take let's not take it away, but let's send you on a 3-week vacation, and I want to come interview you on day 16.
Okay. I mean, I've been on like a 2-week vacation, but okay, yeah.
I guess here would be a more specific, even better question is, in this realm where we're sitting now, you're very competent at it. You have the 10,000 hours minimally. Probably this year you have 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And with competence and a position of leadership comes a lot of control. This is an environment you can control. Now, of course, there's elements that you can't control, but in general, you have a large degree of control. And when you leave here and you go on a blind date or you go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I know. It's nice. It's nice. In fact, I had the experience of a couple years ago, I toured in this dance show. Where I told stories and these dancers dance. And it was with this incredible dance company, Monica Bill Barnes Dance Company. And Monica was the director of the show. And it was such a relief.
You liked it?
Oh, my God. It was so great. It was so great. It was her show. Like, and, I'd have ideas, but she'd be like, no, like, not that. No. Like, it was so really, like, and somebody else was producing it. Somebody else was in charge. I was like an actor in her show. It was, like, wonderful. Like,
so do you think you have control issues, or are you a control freak?
I'm a control, like, enthusiast, I would say. Like, yeah, totally. Freak makes it sound so negative.
A control unicorn?
But it's a very specific kind of control. Like, there's certain things that I find are very hard for me to give up. Like, right now I'm trying to train people into taking over, like, something which sounds so small but is sort of like big too, which is just literally the mixes of the show. Like where the music comes in, where it goes out, the pauses between sentences, like just the performances that people are giving. Right now, like, I give mixed notes on most shows on all of it, and it takes a day. It's a full day of my week to do the mixed notes and review the mixed notes. And it's just like, it's not that interesting. And I keep trying to pass it off. But I feel like that is an area where I feel like a sense of like, I don't know why, like in some primal way, I feel like a need to control it. But if I could just get somebody to the point where I've gotten people in other parts of the show where they just do it just as well as I do, like,
well,
I would be happy to pass it off. And over the years, I've turned over more and more of the show to other people. And there are all kinds of things. Like, most of the show now is something that we all decide together, like overwhelming, like the story selection, the way things are edited, like it very much as a group decision. And so I don't need to control things like that. Like, we do so many stories that I think we shouldn't do. Like I do stories that I'm not in favor of, but like everybody was like, no, we should do this. And then I go do them. Like, there have definitely been times in the staff meetings where I've said like, well, okay, well, someday when I get my own radio show, I'm totally doing this idea. Like
the Ira Glass hour.
Yeah. Like just something. Yeah.
But to defend the one thing though, I will say, not being an expert on it, it appears to me though, that mix is actually in a film, the job of the director really is to establish a tone and hopefully maintain that same tone through every scene of it. And that tone can only come from, is this really my point of view? Is this my exact sensibility? And I know scene to scene to scene, whether even one scene's comedic and one scene's dramatic, at least my personal sensibility will be the unifying thread.
Right.
And I have to imagine that phase of this is where tone is. The pauses, when the music comes in, does it come in slowly? Does it come in abruptly? Isn't that tone?
That's part of tone for sure. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, there's so many other things, like in story selection and who you're talking to and what you say, and like every element.
But the vibe, when I hear This American Life, it's like McDonald's. I get the same thing every time, even if the story's radically different.
Yeah,
I would never drop 5 minutes into that show and not know it was that show, and that's weirdly the accomplishment That's your true accomplishment. Is it is a it's a consistent product.
Yes, true.
Ira Glass, I just want to tell you publicly,
I can remember, not like the episode of Blame, but up there with Blame. I got an email forwarded to me from my wife that you wrote her about having seen Hit and Run on an airplane.
Yeah.
And I was just a fan of yours for 15 years. And all of a sudden, and I'd never met you, and I get an email from you about Hit and Run.
I loved Hit and Run.
I have to tell you, it's hard to know what your real effect is on other people. But the highlight of having made that movie, the process was the highlight. But post it coming out, the zenith of the experience was getting that email from you.
Really?
I promise you from the bottom of my heart.
That's so sweet. Like,
I got this email. I'm like, Ira fucking Glass wrote me a 2-page email about a movie I made. This can't be.
I really liked it. I think I'm a sucker for a story about like a guy who's trying to fix himself. I thought it was like a real surprise that that's what it turned out to be. I thought, like, why isn't this America's favorite date movie? Like I thought it was like surprisingly, it was very unexpected.
Well, but in true self-loathing fashion, I was like, well, A, it's an airplane. Everything goes up 40% on an airplane. It gets better because you are trapped. And then second, I was like, I wonder how many cocktails he had. And then I eventually asked you, like, do you think maybe you were drunk while you saw the movie? And you're like, no.
Yeah, no.
But anyways, I was so flattered because I'm just a humongous fan, and I've spent so many hours of my life enjoying the fruits of your labor. And I'm so flattered you like Kristen, and I know I recognize you like her more, as you should. But it does.
Oh my God!
I always say the neatest part.
I don't know, man. Now they're spending more time together. Who knows? I feel like you could totally beat her. You could totally edge her out.
Burn.
You're totally edging her out. Like, where's Kristen now? Where's Kristen Bell now?
She opens the door for us, and sometimes we get invited to stay because I'm there. You never know how it'll go.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for spending time on your Sunday. Not unlike Sedaris, I feel very flattered that you would give us your time and be a part of our show. So thank you so much.
Yeah, this is fun. Thanks for having me.
I love you, Ira Glass.
I'm a listener.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman. Facts, let it all out. These are the facts that I care about. Come on. Monica's talking to you. Come on. Do you even recognize that song?
Yeah, I do.
Shout.
Yep.
Shout.
That's
When you
good.
say yep, you really mean it. I don't need to then do it again because you said yep, and then I kept going.
It's okay. You can.
Did you like that I kind of affected an English singing accent?
I was going to comment on that. Yeah. That you often do that. You become them.
Channel them.
Yeah.
Hi, Monica.
Oh, hi.
What facts are you checking today?
Ira Facts.
Ira Flax. Oh, no. It's picking up again.
Oh, the rain.
I thought it had passed.
Oh gosh, this
What is
happens
that?
sometimes where the sun comes out and I get happy again, and then it passes, and then there's rain again.
Oh, but wait, I see the sun's peeking through the clouds. It looks like this is going to pass.
Oh, it's gonna just be a quick shower.
Oh, I think that was the last raindrop.
Good.
Great.
You know what I do enjoy?
I
every
do
now
know a
and
lot
then?
of things you enjoy, but maybe not the
You
specific
don't know about
one.
this. I don't like the rain, but I do enjoy a sun shower.
Oh, okay. You know what my grandma Yolis used to say?
Huh.
When the sun's shining and it's raining, it means the devil's beating his wife.
Oh.
You know, she was from Kentucky and she had all these great sayings. I think when something stunk, she said, that smells like a polecat.
A polecat?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I think it's those long things that stick out of swamps that have a little fuzz at the end.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What does it do?
Well, stinks to high heaven if you believe Yola Shepherd.
Wait,
Yolis Honchel's her birth name.
what does it do though out of the swamp? I have so many. You really just opened up a door to a lot of questions.
Okay, you know when you're driving and on the side of the highway, you see a swamp. And in the swamp, there's these really straight up and down tan-colored
poles.
Well, they're plant. They're flora. It's growing out from the bottom of the swamp.
Okay,
and
it's
they're
foliage.
And then they're straight up and down, and they have these big poofs at the top.
Oh,
Can you picture
like a
one?
Dandelion?
Not at all. No, the poof is much more parallel with the stalk. It's not spherical. It is tubular.
Oh,
So it puffs out at the top in a little tubular fashion.
Totally tubular.
That's not a polecat? Wobby Wob's correcting me. What is a polecat?
Polecat skunk, an African skunk.
Oh, an African skunk is a polecat skunk. Why would my grandma know about an African skunk? I mean, granted, she had a double
She was
master's degree.
smart.
Very smart. Smartest person in our family, I believe.
Yeah, and that makes the most sense because skunks stink.
They sure do. Well, that stinks like a polecat.
And we don't know about
devil's
that
beating his wife.
foliage. We don't know how that smells. It could smell lovely.
I just filled in the blanks. I liked it much more when I thought my grandma was talking about that. Fuck you, Wobby Wob. I guess that opening of the umbrella was bad luck.
Those are cattails.
Cattails.
Cat
Oh, those are called
tails.
cattails. Do you know the funny thing about my grandma Euless, who she was named after?
Uh-huh.
You do know?
Oh, no.
Ulysses S. Grant. Isn't that interesting? They decided Euless was the female version of Ulysses.
Oh.
Also interesting because she's from the South, and Ulysses S. Grant famously defeated Robert Lee.
He's a northerner.
But what's also
I like
interesting
that.
is, I was just thinking this the other day because one of her brothers was named Lee. I don't know. I think they might have honored both of them.
Wow. They just were big fans of the Civil War?
I think everyone in the South's pretty aware of the Civil War. They seem to think about it way more than the people in the North.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with those rebel flags and whatnot, you see
Confederate flags.
Confederate
yeah.
flags. Yeah.
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 I don't love that.
No, it's not a great symbol. I will say this about the Confederate flag. First of all, it was a rebellion against the United States. Secondly, a lot of people are in favor of saying it was about states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
It was about states' right, a single right, which was slavery.
Yeah,
So sure, it was
exactly.
about states' rights. But let's just be honest about the fact that it was about a singular right.
Yep.
And I think I was telling you because I'm reading this Robert E. Lee book right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mexican-American War was very, very instrumental in causing the Civil War, which I had no idea. Because all that land that we stole from Mexico
Yeah.
was all new land that was going to be incorporated in the United States. And the Southerners, of course, wanted that land to be slavery.
Of territory.
Welcome to, because the North, it was illegal. And so really the Civil War was really, really instigated by that war, which I never knew
That's
that either.
interesting,
I
yeah.
think it's very interesting. But now back to the Confederate flag. So,
Yeah.
it's a terrible symbol. It really represented people's desire to
Own slaves.
own slaves.
Yep.
You can't get around that.
I know.
You can't
People
get
really do
around
want
that.
to, but the truth is you just can't.
Yes. Now, with that said,
Okay.
I have met many people that have a seemingly no awareness of that. Like they really look at that flag as a symbol of being an outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's a bad flag. We got to get rid of it. Also, you have to just have a little forgiveness in your heart for some people that don't really know what they're waving around.
Well-
I think that the way through to this is not to deem everyone that's got one a racist. Just start with there's a lot of people that have some misconceived notions about the history of the flag.
We can be honest and say the majority of people who are flying that flag know what it means.
Well, I guess from my own anecdotal example, I have known a lot of people that have had that sticker on their truck or something that I can say with certainty aren't racist. So that's where it gets a little compelling to me, or just, multifaceted. How about that?
Sure.
A complicated issue. So I do know a lot of people that have had that flag or a T-shirt or something, and they're not racist. I mean, of course, this was 25 years ago. I feel like now that conversation really has been being had publicly.
Yep. I also know people. Look.
From Georgia.
The thing is, when you say, I know with certainty that people aren't racist,
Mm-hmm.
the problem I have with that is if you know what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and you are flying that flag
Yes.
and you say it stands for fishing and being that's what people say.
Sure,
they
sure,
say
sure.
it stands for
Hunting,
what it means to
fishing,
be
yeah.
a Southerner.
Self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that you're not racist because you are choosing to fly a flag that is a symbol of hatred for a group of people. You're choosing like your Southern roots over somebody else's humanity. And to me, it's not overtly racist, but it's not good.
Well, I hope I'm being
incredibly clear that I don't think that flag is good.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone's celebrating a failed rebellion.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I also don't believe that you're necessarily racist if you have that flag.
A black person who sees that flag is never going to feel safe. Never.
Yes. And you and I know that. Some people are stupid. Some people are uneducated.
Sure.
And it doesn't mean their heart's black.
But if somebody tells them,
wrong choice of words there.
I know. I blew past
Got
that.
dicey.
But,
I should have used a different thing to say.
Cold.
Cold. Yeah,
hardened,
okay.
whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
If they're just ignorant, which there are a lot of people that are, I get that. But then if somebody says, hey, this represents this, and it's really painful.
It really hurts.
It's painful, yes.
A black American's feelings to think that one of their neighbors has a symbol celebrating when they were owned.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you start there, I think you're going to get a lot of growth. I think if you start with going, hey, dude, you're a racist for having that flag, I think you're going to get a lot of defensive-ness.
Yeah.
How on earth did we get on the Confederate flag?
I don't know.
All right, hit me with your facts.
Okay. Oh, you said that we'd only done one other interview outside of our attic. That was Ellen. And that was technically true at the time we recorded it. But since we've released these out of order, it's not true anymore. Amy and Seth were both also out of the attic.
Mm-hmm. And our live shows, you could say, are
That's
out of the
true.
attic. But to go to somebody, was unique at that moment.
At that moment,
Didn't
Ellen.
mean I was a racist because I went at that moment to his studio.
Tomato, tomato.
We'll see.
I guess it's okay to, it's not okay to be ignorant, but if you're ignorant and somebody corrects you, you have to change or else you are that thing.
For sure.
And when you watch the news about the Confederate flag stuff, it's not all ignorance. It's a lot of people hear it and they don't care.
It's not a coincidence that flag was on huge display during the Charlottesville white supremacist march.
Yeah.
You can't really deny that. So, yeah.
I feel like I had a conversation with my very, very good friend from home who is very smart. And he comes from a very, very southern part of Georgia, his whole family. And we were having a conversation about the flag because he has people in his family who fly it. And I think he at one point had to reconcile, I think he was on the it represents this for a long time. And at some point he just had to be no. Yeah. It's just not okay to do that.
Well, again, I'll use a far more innocuous example for us, not if you're Jewish. But, the swastika was used in Hindu religion. It was very much a part of their iconography. In fact,
really?
Yes, 100%. And in fact, it was that symbol was stolen.
Oh, Rob is saying it was flipped.
No, there was a school built in our hometown that was deserted. We used to go into it, and they had put a huge rug over it. But on the floor, the school was built in 1909. In mosaic on tile on the floor, it had a swastika. The old high school in Milford. We would sneak into the high school and we'd peel back the carpet, and there was a big swastika on the ground, and that was 30 years before the Nazi Party. So they took that symbol. They hijacked it. Now, of course, that symbol's dead.
Right.
As it should be. But you could certainly be Hindu and have that symbol. And then if someone pointed out to you, hey, by the way, there was a Holocaust, 6 million people died, and that was pretty much the mascot of the atrocity, you'd probably go oh, well, I should probably take it off my roof. But all I'm saying is that person could quite innocently be not really understanding the gravity of the symbol.
I guess.
You wouldn't see that and go that guy, that's a fucking anti-Semite.
Well, you might now. I would. Also, I've never, I believe you. I totally believe you. But it's definitely clearly not a ubiquitous enough thing within Hinduism now because I've never seen it. But I think you could definitely say that if if a Hindu had that, like for sure at this point in history.
All I'm asking for is like a tiny bit of goodwill and benefit of the doubt, where you go to the person and go, I doubt you.
You may not know
I
this.
doubt you mean this.
Right.
You seem like a nice person. I doubt you mean this. I just want to let you know the history of this thing.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to fly that.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm just talking about like step one. Instead of going like, oh, that person's a fucking racist and I'm going to tell them. I just, I don't think the result of that approach is all that great.
I know. I also just don't think I don't think most people are starting that way.
I understand, and I would understand where a lot of people would say someone with the Confederate flag on their truck doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
No,
I understand that.
I'm not saying that at all.
Oh, okay.
I think it's always good to start with educating.
Yeah, you don't lose anything if you find out the person is a racist prick.
I just know, I know that a lot of these people are educated in it and are still doing it. Of course, that's definitely the approach, but the initial approach, then when you see what's left, then I'm going to say, okay, this is a symbol of racism.
You're perpetuating.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, ignorance is a different thing. And if people, because also our friend Jed put something on Instagram recently, a really sweet story about that, where he had like,
he's from Tennessee.
He's
the most liberal human being on the planet.
Exactly.
Progressive.
Yes. And he had a Confederate flag bandana on.
Oh, and he wore it to his black friends.
He wore it to a black church or something.
Yep. He went to a black church.
Yeah. And a very kind, warm
elder pulled him aside.
Yeah. And just said like, hey, when you wear that, it makes us feel unsafe. It reminds us of
the single worst part of our history.
Yeah. And he took it off immediately and felt terrible and learned. If everyone did that, that would be incredible and amazing. That's not the reality.
If everyone could find themselves in a loving black church in the South.
Well, if everyone could hear those words and say, oh, this really causes pain, I'm going to stop doing this because it causes pain. That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe it'll happen someday.
Yeah. Something tells me that the people who don't understand that a flag represents slavery probably aren't listening to Armchair Expert. That's the bad news.
That's true.
I'm probably talking in our silo.
You're
I was
right.
like, yeah, we get it. No, we know. We're already on your page.
Yeah. But it's good then for people who are like-minded to us to hear that like the best initial approach is kindness and education.
Hey, you probably don't know this. Yeah.
Okay, so you said 8 years ago at any given year, there were probably 9 comedies that crossed $100 million, and this year there wasn't a single one. Last year there wasn't a single one. And then you said, I'm probably leaving one out. Girls Trip was a huge hit. So in 2017, Girls Trip did cross 100 million, and then Daddy's Home 2 also did. And then in 2018, this year, so far, none have crossed.
We're pretty late in the year, too.
Yeah,
and by
we're
the way,
in November.
Those $100 million comedies generally don't come out in the fall.
Exactly. They
We're
don't.
probably not going to get there.
Yep. And so far, the highest grossing is Night School at 71 million.
Tiffany Haddish.
That's right.
If you're listening, Tiffany, we really want you on the podcast.
We do. Can you come on,
man?
In 2008, the 10 years ago you reference, it was kind of hard for me to differentiate what was comedy and what was drama because there was like Horton Hears a Who. And
well,
stuff.
cartoons I'm not
Do
going to
they count?
No.
Well, whatever. There was a lot. There was 8 to 10. There was like a lot. There was a lot.
But interestingly, we might have figured something out on our conversation this week with Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
So, another avenue I hadn't even considered in this failing comedy business.
What'd he say?
That we're in a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been defined the next big leg yet.
Yeah.
That was encouraging. I like thinking about it that way. Because I think it's dead. I think Instagram and YouTube has killed it. But I'd be delighted to know that, no, there's just a new voice that this generation will gobble up and run to the theaters to see.
Well, I think the other aspect is like what you qualify as dead. I mean, when you think about, like, I equated to commercials. Like before I was doing commercials way a long time ago, you could make like $200,000 on one commercial.
Well, can I tell you something? Because I even did it 15 years before you, and I was told that as well. And that is not my experience. I did a Miller Lite commercial that they bought 1 trillion spots for, and I made $17,000. And I kept thinking,
17,000.
Yeah, 17,000 all in.
That was that's weird then.
Well, all I'm saying is I knew all these old timers at these auditions that were telling me they were making $200,000 off a single candy commercial, and I didn't know anyone in my circle, and I was very much submerged in it. So I think it might be a little bit of lore.
Well, maybe that could be true. Although my friend's friend,
We're already getting into
but
choppy
for real,
water.
she did an Olympics commercial a long time ago. She was really young. And I was told she made $150,000 on it. And the thing is, I can see that being true based on some of the commercials I've done. I haven't made nearly that amount, but knowing that it's changed a lot.
Yeah. What's the most you've
17
ever
is
made on a
not
commercial?
a lot for you. That doesn't seem right.
Well,
I think
that's
you
what it
got
was.
gypped.
Well, don't say that word anymore.
You're not allowed to say that?
Yeah, I love when you err. It happens once in
You're
a
not
million
allowed to
years.
say
No,
that?
because it references gypsies.
Oh,
Yeah,
I never knew
they'll
that.
take advantage of you. Yeah.
Oh my God,
You'll get gypped if you
knew
do a
that.
deal with a gypsy.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's all
Okay,
right.
I'm not
You
gonna
live and
say it
learn.
anymore.
Look, you just had a Confederate flag.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe it all happened in real time. This is incredible.
I'm not going to say that again. Although that's really interesting because in my brain it's spelled JIPPED.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it was
I had no
GYP.
I had no idea. Well, now I know. Yikes. Embarrassing. So anyway, I think you got screwed.
You can't say it anymore. That references the Scrumerians from Mesopotamia.
Yeah. But
Who used to insist on
it's not
having
a lot.
sex before they'd close any grain deal. Here's the best part about me making 17. It was 1,000 more than I made on the entire season of Punked. So I made $16,000
Wow.
on Punked. I had to shoot 24 bits. It almost took a year to film that verse.
Yeah. That's a big,
So if
that
you-
was a big year for you.
Honestly, it was because I made like
That is.
$33,000, and prior to that, I'd never made more than $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
8. I can't believe you even
Oh, I lived. Yeah,
I can't
I
believe
lived like
you
a king
lived.
too. I was drunk all the time.
I
Ate
know.
sandwiches and
and
stuff.
alcohol costs a good amount of money.
It didn't. I'd buy these 32 ounces of Miller High Life at the Save-On. They were $1.19.
It was mainly beer you were drinking.
No. I would drink. Early Times was the cheap version of Jack Daniels. I'd drink that.
Ooh.
A bunch of knockoff liquors.
Oh, wow.
Then I had friends who had nice liquor, and I'd drink their liquor
Yeah,
too.
you'd steal.
The more compelling thing is how I did drugs, because those are pricey. Yeah.
Yikes.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
I guess so. Okay, so you said West Bloomfield is the second highest concentration of Jews outside of Israel per capita.
Oh God! If you ruin this for me, I'll be
I'm
so
of course
sad.
going to. That's because
okay.
you guys are also saying it's the highest black population. It's the highest. It can't be the highest every single.
Well, no, Detroit was
population.
the highest
You get
percentage,
real.
not total.
Oh, I keep doing that.
92% black at one point.
Okay, so
Here we go.
according to the North American Jewish Data Bank, the 104 counties and independent cities as of 2011, it's been a few years, with the largest Jewish communities as a percentage of population were, number 1, Rockland County, New York, 29.3%. Number 2, Kings County, New York, 22.4%. Number 3, Nassau County, New York. New York's really holding down the fort, 17.2%. Oakland County, Michigan is 41 on the list,
Yeah, but
5.1% of their population.
just to be clear, I didn't claim Oakland County at the highest concentration.
Well, that's
of
the
Jews.
only Michigan one.
Right. I said West Bloomfield, which is a city within Oakland County. And let me just tell you about Oakland County. None of those Jews live anywhere but West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills. So the fact that it made 41 in a county that's really just WASP, I was only saying West Bloomfield, which is a city. Maybe we could do a
It says
city dive.
of 104 counties and independent cities as of 2011.
Yeah, but you're naming counties. Oakland,
But those
Oakland
are
County is-
probably,
I didn't hear any cities.
I know, because those are probably the ones with the highest population. I don't know, but
We
I
got-
don't think you're right.
We got to earmark this, though, and we got to do cities. Okay? Because that was my claim. I know you hate me. You hate me very much.
There's
right now.
no way there's more Jewish people than in one of the cities in Rockland County then. Like, there's just no way.
Well, that's what you're saying, but I don't know that that's true.
If there's 29.3% Jewish people in that whole county.
You think there's a city within it. But
There
I'm telling
has
you
to
that
be a city
I
within
think that West Bloomfield's over 50% Jewish.
Okay.
I don't know why you're so mad
Because
at me.
I won't be able to find that. This is the best statistics we're going to have. The reasonable conclusion is that's not
That's
true.
not the reasonable conclusion because this number one county could have Jews spread all throughout the county. But I'm telling you, Oakland County doesn't have Jews spread all throughout Oakland County. It's primarily just in West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills.
Okay.
We'll do more digging.
Okay, we can't.
You very may well still be right.
I just think you think literally 41 on the list compared to all these other, mainly all these New York counties.
Still super possible.
Okay.
So I'm telling you that just those two cities tipped the whole county up into the top 50. So yeah, I think it's still possible.
Okay.
I would love if we could disagree about this and you not be mad at me.
But I'm not mad. It's just,
I'm
don't you
dead on
think
that.
if I'm researching and I'm typing in all this stuff that at some point West Bloomfield would have come up in my research, probably if that were true?
I don't know. I don't know what if you search counties or cities or.
That's fine. Yeah. We can keep looking. Okay. Ira is right though that he said Dearborn, Michigan is the most Arab city in the country. The city's population includes 40,000 Arab Americans. Per the 2000 census, Arab Americans totaled 29,181, or 29.85% of Dearborn's population. The city has the largest proportion of Arab Americans in the United States. So, he's right about that.
I'm not shocked. He's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a higher bar. Like he's on NPR. He really has to get his shit right. He's more of like a journalist than us.
He is, yeah.
Not a little bit more. Like he's a journalist and we're not.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to clarify is we talk about Wild Wild Country so much on here, and we often come to the conclusion that, you know, they're in a cult, but ultimately they're happier.
Seem
so
happier.
who is really winning and who's losing here?
Mm-hmm.
But what we never really say, which I think it's time for us to say, is they were doing some really shady stuff. They were like poisoning a town. There
Some
was
of the
some
people were.
bombing. There was some bad stuff happening, some harmful stuff happening. So we can't say that it was just totally pure and people were happy, but
I agree.
you know what I mean?
I still like to think it was a smaller percentage of the Rajneeshis
I
that
think
were
it
like
was.
out there poisoning things. Yeah.
It was, I think, but the fact that these happy people are worshiping humans who are poisoning towns and doing this stuff, just because you're happy doesn't mean that's okay.
100%. And I think I say, when we talk about it, I like to say at least, maybe I'm not saying enough, that both sides succumb to escalation. Like that, to me, the big learning principle of that whole documentary is the difference between de-escalating and escalating, because both sides just kept escalating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they shut down their town, then they got enough residents in there to overthrow the election, then they changed the county rule, then they changed, you know, like, so great. So they shipped in all these people. To me, it's just like what both sides were tremendously guilty of, was like just escalating beyond belief.
Yeah. I guess they both felt like that was the only way to get what they wanted.
I would have been one of those idiots. I know that's a shortcoming of mine.
Who what?
Like if you
Escalated?
push me, I'm going to punch you. And if you punch me, I'm going to stab you. You know, like that's my
Yeah.
worst quality.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have poisoned a salad bar, though. I don't think
That's
I would
really,
have.
that's
Yeah,
that's
I would
a
have
lot.
started thinking, wait, is this like if I'm ever going to an AA meeting, they're like, let's go. Before the meeting, we're going to go poison Bob's Big Boy. I'd be like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talk about Blame, the episode on Radiolab. You also talked about Radiolab and then you felt guilty.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But I do want people to listen to that and listen to the other part of that Blame episode too. There's 3 parts. You detailed one. The other one, for me, is the most powerful part of that whole episode.
Well, there's the porn addiction. The guy whose daughter got murdered. And what was the third one?
That one I can't remember.
Oh, I thought you were saying the third one.
No,
was,
porn addiction.
Oh, you like that one the most?
Yeah. 'cause-
What do you think?
Well, as a brief rundown for our audience, the episode is about a guy who basically has a brain surgery.
It fixes epilepsy.
And then that was great. Everything went Well,
No more seizures.
No more seizures. And then a couple years later, the FBI knocked on the door.
Yeah, Homeland Security, I think it was.
And he had all this child pornography on his computer.
In addition to bestiality, underage. Yeah, he had every single thing.
Yeah, and they basically concluded that it happened during the surgery, that they like fucked up his brain.
Yep, the part of your brain that
The
would
impulse control
your pleasure center. Well, yeah, we want that, but that's ridiculous.
Yep.
There was no communication.
Yeah, they had like tapped it or like took it out on accident or something, and
then the even sadder part, I thought, was completely treatable condition. Once the psychiatrist discovered what happened, they said, "Oh, this is what happened. This can happen in that procedure, but don't worry. We have this medicine we'll put him on, and it'll dull that pleasure center, and he'll be completely back to normal." And they're like, "Yeah, well, tough shit. He still has to serve some time."
Yeah. For me, that story is the most compelling because it's very enlightening about the human brain, and like when people do bad shit, can you like? It's not. Is it their fault?
Yeah, that's why it was
might
called
not
blame.
even be their fault, and like how can we?
You have to be so generous and benevolent to view things that way. Especially if it's your family member who's been a victim of these things.
I know. I've also seen it though. I've seen it in life. Like I've seen people have brain stuff and we're so powerless to it.
Yeah.
It's
and
scary.
The whole system seems a little precarious. It seems it seems very fragile. It doesn't seem like it'd take much to disrupt keeping you acting like a semi-normal human being or not.
Yeah, I know.
Me on drugs quite often. I mean, like I look at some of my behavior, I can't compute the person that would do that stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's scary.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So everyone should really check that out. How many episodes of This American Life? 659.
I'll be excited when they do 10 more. 669.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll be a hot episode.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, I can't wait till they get to 6,969 episodes. 69.
Yeah, you'll love that.
Maybe they should have that guy on where his pleasure center is all up. It's all wacky.
Oh, no. Oh, it's raining again.
It's just a little pitter-patter, though. It's going to clear up really quick.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone. The sun's out.
Sunny. Okay, so you said everything gets 40% better on an airplane because you're trapped. And that's not a real figure. No. But we are more likely to cry on airplanes.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. There's been a lot of research, nothing super definitive, but there's an article in Time magazine, and it said a mix of psychological factors related to the plane's altitude and a perceived loss of control can cause a person to break down emotionally once in the air. We have little control over our environment while we are traveling by plane. Although we may not be consciously aware of our emotional vulnerability, our emotional brain is working overtime. I cry on planes sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, and not very much in life.
Not with much provocation?
I cried last time I was on an airplane.
You did?
Last 2 weeks ago.
Why? Well, I thought you cried after you got off the airplane.
I cried both.
Before.
I cried on the airplane.
Okay. Uh-oh. I feel bad now.
Don't feel bad. I was editing an episode of our podcast and I got upset.
Oh.
Though, if I'm going to be honest, I also did have one mimosa.
Okay, great. So it was a real recipe for
It was.
little tear session.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Because I do recall when I used to cry, it being very nice.
Cathartic.
Yeah, just like it releases all the stress.
It depends on why you're crying.
Okay.
If it gets resolved, yeah.
Okay.
But if it's not, or if it's because you're angry, it's not. Doesn't feel good. I don't cry very much at all.
No. But I've made you cry like 5 times, I think, in the last 4 years.
Kristen's made me cry too.
Oh, good.
Is it that you guys aren't making me? That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm crying in reaction to you guys.
I feel much better now.
Look, but you know who else makes me cry? My parents. So that's
That's in
also.
keeping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brother ever
they
make you cry?
really make me cry.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Like if
And
they're
that's so embarrassing.
if they're disappointed in you, or just when you're mad at them.
No.
You mostly cry out of anger, which
I
is
do.
interesting.
I do. Or embarrassment.
Oh, uh-huh. Did you cry the time you hit the door leaving that place?
I think I might have.
You might have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think-
After you got clear of all of us.
Yeah.
Man, I loved it, and you hated it, but it was so great.
I ran into a door.
A glass door.
A glass
when you
door.
really almost went through the glass.
It was so embarrassing. And
Leaving-
all of our friends
we were going to see
there.
Bob play, right?
Yes, we were seeing Bob play, and it was after, and all our friends were there. Ryan and Amy were there, and other people. And then
You pulled an Ace Ventura.
it was so weird. It's like one of those very like cartoonish moments.
Like
it's
a
like, how
pop-out.
did it even? It was a big pop out.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you ever cried on an airplane
No.
in your life?
Mm-mm.
Do you ever watch sad movies on the airplane?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll watch any movie on an airplane. I literally watch movies where I go, I can't believe I'm about to hit play. And then I love them.
oh, really?
Yeah. Like I watch movies I think I'm going to hate. Because
Oh,
why not? I'm just sitting there. Even watching a movie I hate's better than twiddling my thumbs.
I've been watching Crazy Stupid Love on the plane.
Over and over again? The movie? Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're so interesting.
I like it for my plane movie, and I cry at that too.
Oh. I can't believe
There's
you
some
watch it
sad
over and over
parts.
again.
Yeah, that's how I pretty much consume most things. That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.